negatives too within this PSI, as this court is well aware. You know, as at least by the accounting, there were probably around 3 cases around that neighborhood of active cases that were affected by his thefts. One was the triggering, really ultimately the triggering event here, that some drugs were not located. There was a couple-day search. Really, at that point, led to ultimately the changes in the procedures for the police department with regard to their evidence room. Chief Spencer had indicated in his letter that Mr. Wasson was a close friend. He was grooming him as the next chief. He did call this the ultimate betrayal. He noted the amount stolen, 43 grams, and this was in the PSI as well, 43 grams of heroin, 209.5 grams of meth, 1,895 fentanyl pills, and slightly over $7,000 in cash. Chief Spencer also noted what really is the problem here, which was the immense damage to public trust and perception. The lost personnel from the department, the hurt morale within the department, and as this court is well aware, he had asked for and felt that a term of imprisonment would be appropriate. Operations Captain Kite also put in a statement, trusted Mr. Wasson for 25 years as a police officer, a close friend and confidant. He tarnished the badge. He felt that he is now nothing more than a thief, a drug dealer with a badge. He repeated the amount stolen and also thought that a prison sentence would be most appropriate. He did wonder how many qualified candidates did not apply given what happened in this case. And the department must rebuild that trust with the community. He had been aware of numerous comments from the community about this case. Captain Brass also very similar. She was involved in that search for that missing methamphetamine. Went on for a couple of days. Mr. Wasson himself was involved. That was the one that ultimately led to the dismissal of that case by the county attorney's office. So ultimately, it was kind of the gist or grist that led to this downfall with regard to the property room. She indicated the ongoing law enforcement relation with the community and the public had been problematic for a number of years. In this amplified, she noted the receipt of numerous calls, emails, upset people, and it strained further the relationship that had been in some trouble as of the last couple of years to a few years. She noted that officers who are clearly not involved had been receiving the grief as a result of what happened here. And noted, of course, that Mr. Wasson was a trusted person in a position of power when this occurred. And then lastly, Sergeant Enlow, the supervisor of the Detective Bureau, indicated he looked up to Brian Wasson, saw him as a top cop, a superstar investigator on the drug task force, did not suspect him of the addiction. As recent as 2021, he had no idea, though he had started in that relevant time period working closely, or much more closely than he had been when he was out on the street with Mr. Wasson. He did request cameras to be placed into the, ultimately into the evidence room, and those were put up. He felt that, or indicated that he felt that Mr. Wasson had obfuscated those cameras in part during this investigation, pre-investigation, covering up some of the thefts and so on. And he did note that Mr. Wasson violated his oath of office and the community criticism. So, now, while the thefts themselves did not put the Scottsbluff Police Department out of business, it didn't affect their bottom line. What it did affect is the trust. Not only the trust in the faith in the department with the community, but also the trust and faith within the department, between ranks, and then ultimately, maybe most serious, within the command structure, within those who knew Brian Wasson the longest, who were closest with him. That's a trust and injury that continues on, and that series of trusts and violations are what are the real thing that was lost here. That is the real injury in this case. And those are broad, and those are going to be long lasting.